Hey guys, today I'm coming at you from my front yard garden, and today I'm going to give you a tour of this garden. A lot of people were asking to check it out and see some videos about my garden, so I apologize to my farming audience. This one might not be as interesting as some of the content that I do on the farm, but I've had a lot of fun in this garden, and it's my first time actually having a garden, believe it or not, at least a garden that is not related to the farm, where I can just grow things that I'm interested in and that I like, opposed to selling things that are for market. So before I take you around the tour, I'm going to give you a full tour. We're going to look at each bed, what's growing in there, going to go around the perimeter and look at all the berries and perennial stuff I'm doing. But before I get into that, I just wanted to say one thing. I'm starting to send out an email every Friday, calling it From the Field Friday, where I write a blog post about various things related to agriculture. So in this blog post, I'm going to go a little bit beyond in the detail of things that I might do in videos. I find, like, I don't really script my videos so much. Like, sometimes I have some things that I want to cover and I try to hit those points, but I really enjoy writing, and you guys know I'm an author, and so I felt like I needed to write some stuff. And in this weekly blog, I'm going to go further into detail on stuff. And my first blog post is going to be out this Friday, and it's actually going to be an updated version of the video I did not too long ago, 5 ways to make money in your farms besides farming. I turned it to 6 because one of you guys had a really great suggestion for the 6th, and it was one that I actually knew about that I totally should have mentioned. And in this blog post, I'm going to go into a lot more detail about each of these subjects. So it's going to be a little bit more content rich than the videos. And if you want to sign up for that, just go to theurbanfarmer.co and you'll get a prompt to sign up for that list. If you want that information, sign up for that list and you'll get something every Friday from me. And I'm not going to be spamming you guys. I'm not going to be telling you a bunch of crap that I don't think is interesting. I'm going to try to keep this focused on content that is valuable. So check that out. The other thing is the Microgreens webinar went off with a bang yesterday. We had 700 people in there live. We answered a lot of questions. We spent more time in there than we were supposed to, which is awesome for you guys. So if you want to check that out, I'm going to have the link below, right below this video. Click on that. It's going to take you to Luke Callahan's channel. Luke is my partner in the Microgreens course, and you can watch that. We talk a lot about microgreens, how to sell them, and we also give you a little bit of a preview on the course. So if a lot of people have been interested in that, check that out. That link will be below. All right, let's go check out my garden. All right, let's start with the garden bed that's closest to me right here. One thing I tried to do with this garden, and I didn't have any formal plan for this, I just been kind of winging it, but I've tried to approach it from a principle of, this is the south, is I want my longest season crops on the north side and my shorter season crops on the south side of beds in general. That's where I'm trying to go from. You'll notice I got a couple random squash plants here. These are like a climbing little mini pumpkins, and those are more just for my daughter for fun, but I put them on the corners of these beds because I'm actually going to grow them off the bed and just train them down the side on the outside of the bed, so it doesn't interfere with the crops in the bed. But got a variety of stuff here. We eat a lot of celery because we're big into juicing here, so we've got 2 long rows of celery in here, and I've got 2 rows of beets, which I will succession plant again soon as well. Actually, I'm going to do another succession of celery pretty soon in another bed. And I've got some green stuff on the south. And you know, I grow some of this stuff on the farm. This is some trials. So I get seed companies that send me stuff, and so I'm actually using my garden as an opportunity to try these trials. So I've got some different trials of lettuce from West Coast Seeds there that they sent me. And I got some Salanova in here, and this is bok choy, some different types of bok choy. And you know, I could just go and take greens from the walk-in cooler, but there's something about harvesting a salad for lunch right from the garden, and so that's why I wanted to have some of this stuff in my garden. And I want my daughter to see that each time. I want her to see me harvest food and then we eat it. So that was the main idea there. Big patch of romaine head lettuce here. I love romaine lettuce. I love making Caesar salads, so I've got some of that. I'm going to succession more of that soon too. And in here I've got some broccolinis. I love broccolini. I love things in a garden that you can constantly cut, that you just get a constant crop from, opposed to say a broccoli head where you got to harvest the whole head and then the plant's more or less done. I like things that have shoots that I can just keep picking from. A couple random kale plants in there, and these are my chives. I had my overwintered kale here originally. That all went to flower, so I pulled that out and had chives in the understory, and I've got some asparagus in here too that I'm just trying out. So this bed here, similar idea, long season crops on the north side of it. So those are all onions and leeks. And then I've got some short season stuff. So I've got a row of turnips, a couple rows of turnips, and a couple rows of radishes that my daughter has been eating a lot of. So going through those. Got some spring onions here from onion sets, just some sort of scallions. We've been picking away at those. And then I got more onions and stuff in here. A little row of spinach. It's the second row from the first crop I had. And here we've got some sorrel. This is actually sorrel that I grew from microgreens originally, and I have planted in the garden, and it's taken off. Over in this bed, this is my daughter's favorite because it's full of strawberries, and we've been picking these like crazy for almost a month now. They're really starting to produce now. Like I'm seeing more and more ripe one each time. Most of these are ever-bearing, but I did start with some June berries over here, and that's actually the first ones we started picking like in April. So these are coming along nice. Now this is my one of my pea crops, and actually before I explain my pea crop, I'll show you what's in the rest of the bed. So this is all just like quick growing stuff. Get it on my shadow there. It's all quick growing stuff here. Red Russian kale, spinach, and some arugula. And like I said, I grow all this stuff on the farm, but I just want to come and harvest stuff fresh, not only for the nutritional value, but just so our daughter can see us taking stuff and eating it from the garden. And it's so cool just to like be picking and eating, and she's engaging with this. And we're just very proud parents that our daughter is picking strawberries. She had her first snap peas this morning, and she's eating the radishes right out of the ground. She picks the romaine leaves and eats them, so it's pretty cool. Okay, so I'll explain this bed in a second, but I'm just going to jump ahead to my peas. And I really like the way that I've done these peas, and I did this because I've done peas commercially before. I did them for a number of years, and I really like my trellising method here. I'm not so sure this would work on a farm scale, but what I'm doing is not only do I have just basic twine between these two posts, but when the peas start to get thicker, I put another string in and I pull them back in and just kind of contain them. And then that way they're actually easier to pick, but it keeps them contained so they don't just fly all over the place. So then one thing I learned here this year so far is that transplanting peas isn't necessarily worth it. I mean, at least it wasn't for me. These ones were started March 20th from seed, and they got transplanted around the second week of April or so, maybe the first week. And if we skip ahead over to this crop here, this one is started more than a month later, and it's almost at the same place. And these ones I did direct seed. I just soaked the seed overnight and then made a little trench along the edge of the bed and just planted them in thick. Like I just layered the seed in. And the germination rate on this is unbelievable. So it'll be interesting to see if the yield is much different. I mean, these ones aren't flowering yet. They're just about to, whereas the other ones are. But it'll be neat to see over the lifespan of this crop what the difference is. So this bed is only about half planted out. I've still got half of this covered for succession. I might also put some more peppers in here too. I've got some more peppers to plant. So that's the first row of peas, and then the rest of it is cucumbers on the trellis here, planted about 8 inches apart. Got a row of spring onions in there, and then I've got broccolinis. We love broccolini. It's actually, broccoli is our daughter's favorite vegetable, believe it or not, and we're pretty stoked about that. So we're gonna grow a lot of it this year. And you know, broccolini is basically the same thing. It's just more cut and come again. But we've got it interplanted with Salanova lettuce, and I just did that as a test. Not that I need any more lettuce, but I just wanted to see how it would do. And so far it's doing pretty good. Lettuce does okay in partial light. So those are coming along nicely. And I got a nice crop of bush beans here. I love beans. These are French fillet bush beans. And I got a couple Blue Lake, which I've got some strings that they're gonna climb. Not much to say about this bed. It's a whole bed of carrots, 9 rows. Pretty happy about this. Probably my favorite vegetable. Love juicing it, love cooking it, love eating them raw. Gonna have another succession of carrots too soon, but this is the first one of the season. I'll definitely follow what I've done in the past with the farm is I will overwinter carrots. So whatever one of these beds becomes available by about early August, anything that I can clear out, I will clear out and do a winter planting of carrots and then put a tunnel over that come winter and harvest carrots all winter long. This is my summer bed. So this is all summer crops, all peppers, different varieties of peppers, mostly lunchbox peppers and bell peppers. And a couple hot peppers in there, some jalapenos, some cayennes, and I've got more to plant. Roger actually started more for me in the nursery, so I'm gonna put those probably in some of that bed there. And then I've got some patty pan squash, just 3 plants, you know, that's enough really. I've got 2 zucchinis, I've got a yellow and a green zook, and then I've got a sunburst plant as well. And I put some landscape fabric around that too, just to keep weeds down. Not that there's a lot of weeds in this garden, it's just that my neighbors don't always mow their lawns, and there's dandelions blowing in from everywhere. Now this garden bed here is my wife's project. It's all perennial type herbs and medicinals, so I honestly can't even really tell you what's in this. She just demanded that I give her at least one bed that she could do whatever she wanted in, and so that's this. Lots of stuff for fragrances and herbs. There's some lemon balm, there's some turmeric in there, some oregano. I'm just looking at things that I recognize, some dill, some sage, and stuff that she's into. This is my key lime tree. I've had this one for a few years and it produces really well, and we nursed this tree back to health. I got it for really cheap when I first bought it because it was sick, and the guy was like, well, you're a farmer, you could probably figure it out, and so he gave it to me for really cheap, which was like maybe $100 or something, so not that cheap, but kind of cheap. And this key lime tree is great because the leaves are edible, and that's what people use in curries. It's like the Thai curry ingredient, and the limes are awesome, and there's tons of limes on here, like little key limes, just like they use in Mexican cooking. I love these, lots of blossoms coming along. This tree got infested with aphids too early in the spring when it was in the nursery, and my wife did something pretty brilliant that, you know, I wouldn't have told her to do, but she just sprayed the whole thing off. She just basically hosed it down with the hose and sprayed off all the aphids, and now there's no aphids on this thing. It's totally clean, so she did a good job. And then these are all lemons. These are Meyer lemons, and these are coming along well. They've got lots of new growth on them. They're budding up really nicely. This one kind of got fried in the greenhouse because it was too close to the door in the winter time, and the door wasn't closed, and it kind of blew open, and it froze, and it dropped all of its foliage. I thought it was dead, and so I pruned it back, and it's come along quite well. Like, it's bouncing back, and there's a lot of growth on it. So no buds on this one yet, but the other 2 have buds on, so I'm hoping that we'll be picking some lemons this summer. A lot of these pots we have at our place are just sort of for visual. Like, these are just grasses that my wife likes, and we've got a pot full of lemongrass, which I love because we like Thai flavors, and so the lemongrass and the key lime together are like perfect, beautiful flavors. So these are all seedless grapes, some just green grapes, some seedless coronation type grapes, and I'm eventually going to make this into a bigger trellis. Like, I've just got some sticks there as guides right now, but I'm eventually going to build a sort of arbor type thing and then put wire in between, and then this whole thing will fill out with green eventually. Probably by next summer that will all be filled out, but for now I'm just kind of training them as simply as I can, and then later in the season I'll build a big trellis for them. Got some goji berries here, 3 different goji berries. I think there's 2 are the same variety and then one's different. I forget what the name of it is, but goji berries do pretty well in our climate. They do almost as well as raspberries. I think raspberry is probably the best berry you can grow in the dry Okanagan Valley that we live in. But goji berries are a close second, and I love the berry. They're superfood, they taste great, and they're fun to pick. Got some more raspberries here. I've got 2 golden raspberries, and then these 2 are just some different type of red raspberry. Not much to say about those really, but they seem to be doing well, and one of them's even starting to flower. More citrus here. Oh, got a little ladybug hanging out there. And this one is I think this is a New Zealand lemonade. And there's some new growth on there. My wife planted some calendula in there as well. Another one, this is a Page Mandarin, little calendula in there. This one's not really growing that well for some reason, but it might just be kind of getting adjusted. I've noticed that these lemons, sometimes they take a little while and then they just take off. But they've all been, I gave them all new compost this season, so they've got lots of food in the soil, that's for sure. And then these are my Hascap berries. I got 4 Hascaps, and I regret putting this one here because this raspberry has already completely shaded it out. So I'm gonna dig that one out and plant it on the other side. And these raspberries are just crushing it. I've had these in here for like 3 or 4 years, and they're just unbelievably prolific. There's just so many. And they're already like tons of bees in here pollinating them. They're doing great. Got a rhubarb plant here. Don't eat a lot of rhubarb, but I figured why not put something here in this place, because this gets a bit of shade here. And I wanted something that's kind of guaranteed to grow, because rhubarb and raspberries both grow like weeds. So I figured let's put a rhubarb there, and we can use that from time to time in our cooking. Couple blueberry plants here, these 2. And I don't know how well they're gonna do, but they are flowering. And you know, blueberries are more of a wet weather crop. We're very dry here, but we'll see how they do. And I got some blackberries here. These 1, 2, 3 are blackberries. They're a non-invasive blackberry I got from a nursery. One has already got some action on there, and I've got high hopes for those. And then I've got 3 currants here. So these are all currants. There's like a purple currant, white currant, and then I think this one is like a red currant. And I actually forget which order they are, but I know that I got 3 currants. And so I'm gonna put that other Hascap berry right around here, 3 feet away from this one, because this spot actually gets a decent amount of light for most of the day, except in the late afternoon. So that is my garden. Hope you guys have found that helpful. Let me know what you guys have got in your garden. Post your questions and comments below. And one other thing I forgot to mention is the tickets for my Selmer, Tennessee workshop are now up, and they're already selling. That's in October. That event will sell out, guaranteed. We oversold it last year, and it will sell out very soon. The one in Tennessee sells really quickly. There seems to be a ton of demand down in that part of the United States, and super excited about it. Going to be back at Rose Creek Farm with Ray Tyler and his crew, so that's going to be awesome. And there are still some tickets, not many, but some tickets left for the Jean Martin event at Les Fermes des Quatre Temps in Hemingford, Quebec. So if you want to get on that train, you better do it quick, because that one will probably sell out as well. And that event is in mid-June, so that one's coming up in about a month's time. So hope to see you guys soon. Subscribe, like, and share the videos with your friends, and leave your questions and comments below. Again, you guys always ask me really good questions, and it keeps things fresh for me, and I love making videos about common questions that I get from you guys. So we'll talk to you later. Take care.